the fuck is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and it's my favorite time of the motherfucking year, my favorite launch of the year. I am ready. We are playing today with the new Hourglass holiday palettes. I'm so fucking excited. So currently 3 of these are available. One of them will be coming in just a couple days, 2 days to be exact. September 5th, the horse palette will be launching, but I got my hands on these. I paid for overnight shipping. I bought them, so you didn't have to. We're going to go through swatches. I'm going to show you the unboxing. I've got all the tea here for you today because in the event that you're new here, I told you guys this in my last video, but the internet, aka TikTok, has coined me as the Hourglass Queen. So we're going to do some comparisons and stuff like that. Whatever you guys want to see, that's what we're here to cover today. So I would highly recommend grab a motherfucking snack because we're going to be here for quite a bit. Let's just say that. And if you're new here, this is live. I would highly recommend if you're watching the playback, watch it like 1.5, 2 times speed. We love to chit chat. We love to kiki. We are here for a time today. Like I said, grab a snack. I'm going to take a sip. And goddamn, let's get down to it because, guys, let me just tell you something real quick. I can see when you guys are using my affiliate links, and y'all are going so fucking hard for this launch, which is why I wanted to spend as much time on this as I do. I do a lot of content surrounding this across my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube channel. We've got all this shit to go through. I want you guys to spend your money wisely, and I love Hourglass palettes. I would highly recommend them. I do every single year. They're definitely more on the spency side. These do retail for $94. So I know, but that's why I love to invest so much time in these because I feel that they're an investment piece. They're an excellent gift option as well. So if you're shopping for a makeup lover, these are incredible. And I want to help you guys make better purchasing decisions because you don't need all these. Full stop. You don't fucking need them all. If you want them all, who am I to judge, considering my collection? But I know a lot of people struggle with, well, I don't know what palette to get. I don't know, like, I'm this complexion. Which one should I get, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I buy them. Y'all don't need to have collections like me. I'm a content creator. I'm here to help you. So I am going to be referring to the live chat throughout this video. I would love it if you guys would like the video. Thumbs it down. That's cool, too. Let me just get myself together before we go through all this information because it's a lot. So, in the event that you're not following me on TikTok, these did launch, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I got these real quick. So, these launched at like 3 in the morning. We didn't get emails from Hourglass for the wait list until probably like 8 hours later. It was crazy, but I'm like, that's why y'all follow me because I give you the inside scoop. As soon as this stuff drops, I let you guys know. I do have everything linked down below as well. I will probably link everything that's on my face because I feel like y'all are about to love this look, okay? Let's just give me a pat on the back for the look today because she really showed out. And I did want to let you guys know before I get into demoing and stuff like that what foundation shade I am because I consider myself, I range from, I'm going to say light to medium to even tan. Like I would classify myself as tan this summer because I got real dark this year. And I am currently wearing the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Tawny is the shade. So number 7. This is one of my darkest foundations and I feel like it's still probably not a great match for me. It's a little bit yellow as well. But this, I wanted to use this one because of the shade. It's closest to what my complexion looks like right now. But also, this is on sale for like half off, or at least it was at Nordstrom. Excellent foundation. Looks beautiful on the skin, especially of texture. But that's not why we're here today. But just so you have a shade reference, I'm going to classify myself currently as a medium skin tone. Ignore the fly. The fly, I can't get it. I can't get it. So there's that. So looking at these palettes, let's just show them off. Let's just do it. So starting off, we have the Deer palette. This is the one that I would classify for our fair to light skin tones. As you'll see, I can still get use out of this as me classifying myself as a medium skin tone. And I'm going to show you. This is why whenever you guys are asking me, okay, this is my skin tone, which palette is most ideal? Most ideal is how I typically gauge it. But if you're somebody that likes something, you know, not too over the top or a little bit more subtle, you can get use out of different palettes, and I will show you that as I get into the demos. So looking at the Swan palette, if I were to choose a palette that is most ideal for my skin tone, it would be the Swan palette. This is most likely what I would go for anyways. But in the event that I'm like, okay, maybe I want something a little bit more subtle, I can still use the Deer palette. And then we have also the Fox palette, which... Guys, is this an unpopular opinion? I think the packaging is super cute. I don't know, maybe unpopular, but whatever. And I feel like this is the one that most people are the most excited about because we get the most new shades. There's 5 new shades in here, and this is going to be the one that I'll demo for you guys today. I'll demo this live. I've demoed the other 2 pre-recorded. This will be the live demo. So I'm going to go in the order from lightest to darkest. But first, let me show you the unboxing. Because Hourglass, if Hourglass is going to do something right, they're going to kill it when it comes to the packaging. So comparing this to like Louis Vuitton that we just went through, obviously not really much of a comparison. But for being $94 palettes, these do come really nicely packaged. Again, I did pay for overnight shipping, and I got them ridiculously fast. So I got true overnight shipping. So they usually do have like the little plastic seal over the top. Everything looks so nice. The boxes that coincide with them, excellent. It's got all the details on the back here. You've got, you know, just the little shade name right on the side. All the stuff that you would typically expect from an Hourglass palette, it's going to have the same type of packaging. Beautiful packaging. That fly is going so hard through this camera lens right now. So I wanted to just show you guys this. I did post this on my YouTube Shorts, my TikTok, and Instagram. If you guys feel the same way that I do, that Hourglass should give me a discount code, feel free to tag Hourglass in these posts. So hopefully they see them. But that is everything for the unboxing aspect. And now I want to show you some swatches. So I did pre-film some swatches. If you guys want live swatches, I could do those as well. But I did pre-film them in natural light and sunlight, which I feel like this is where you're truly going to see what they actually look like, especially in the sunshine. Oh my God, they look so beautiful. First palette is the Deer palette. Second palette, this one right here, is the Swan palette. And then the third palette will be the Fox palette. Obviously, you guys could use your eyeballs and probably know, but I'm going to tell you anyways, it's fine. But look at that. Look at that. See how much prettier they look in the sunlight? Oh my God, so stunning. This is what gets me every single time. And those like mauvey tone blushes, fucking chef's kiss, gorgina. Absolutely stunning. So this palette that you're seeing right now is the Fox palette. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys those in natural light and daylight because they could translate a little bit different because I am in studio lighting right now. I try to keep everything as accurate as possible to what it actually looks like, but occasionally, you know, it doesn't always work out. So I would love to know in the live chat, I see you guys all coming in. I would love to know what you guys are thinking. I think they're all cute designs. Yes! I love the packaging this year. See, I feel like most of them, like most of the opinions, everybody's saying that they don't like them, which I think they're so fucking cute. Oh, thank you so much for the compliment on my makeup. Yes, I love the Fox palette design. I'm with you. I love the pack. Okay, so the Britches are loving the packaging. Thank you, Jackie. I don't think they could tag on YouTube, but like Instagram and TikTok, absolutely. You know what y'all can absolutely do though? Thumbs the video up, because that is what tells TikTok, or not TikTok, you can tell which app that I'm on the most. It tells YouTube that you guys like the video and it pushes it out to more people. Same as if you share it. Like if you take a little picture and post it on your Insta story and link the video, get more Britches up in this live chat. We want to have a good time. I agree though. Swan is that girl. All right. So now that we've gotten through the swatches, do you guys want live swatches? I'll let the live chat pick this one because I do plan on doing, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to see comparison swatches. I don't know if you guys want to see individual palette swatches first, and then we'll get into the actual demo aspect. I could probably do this relatively quickly. So let me just run through the color stories while I'm waiting to see what you guys say. So first we have the Deer palette, which this has, I believe, actually, you know what? I got this information right in fucking front of me. What am I doing? So 2 finishing powders, 1 bronzer. Let me point these. We'll point these out. So you know what? Let me give you guys a little sidebar real quick. So you see, look at the palette side by side. Do you see why I tell you guys to not judge them by the swatches? Like, are you guys, or not by the swatches, by the promo images? Because are you guys seeing, like, the same thing as me? They just don't. I'm trying to get the, Wow, if I could do this right, that'd be great. Look at, I'm ass backwards right now. To me, they don't translate the same. I feel like this one is probably the most accurate looking at the promo image versus what it looks like in real life. To me, though, I think they look way more beautiful in real life. So, anyways, aside from my sidebar, so in this palette we have 2 finishing powders, which I don't always necessarily love that simply because they're so sheer, it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like 1 finishing powder is enough for 1 face palette, but I think the fair skin girlies will really appreciate it. I don't have fair skin, so it's one of those things where I'm like, I personally don't love that, but I think the fair skin girlies will really appreciate it. Then for the bronzer, we have an existing shade, which is Diffuse Bronze Light. Highlighter is Incandescent Strobe Light. No, Iridescent Strobe Light. And Radiant Peach, new blush, and Radiant Pink, which is also a new blush. So, looking at this, I automatically, like I said, fair skin girlies all the way. So swatching, let me give you guys quick swatches because I don't think I can see anything in the live chat yet. So these are the swatches of the finishing powders. As you can see, there are subtle differences. However, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more layer on that second one. I feel like if you're super fair, you'll appreciate the lighter one. Oh, Dawn, thank you so much for the super chat. I haven't seen one of those in so fucking long. Oh, thanks, girl. So looking at the finishing powders, I feel like if you're super fair, you'll probably like the more brightening one, which is the shade Dreamlight. But Auralite has such a beautiful, it's almost like a peachiness to it, which I feel like this might be great for either color correction, or I feel like even though the top one, which is Dreamlight, even though Dreamlight appears to be brighter, I noticed more of an effect with the shade Auralite. You'll see it when I demo it. I just felt like it gave a little bit more brightening and, like I said, that color correction almost. I thought Auralite, when I applied this, was beautiful. So those are the 2 finishing powders. The bronzer on my skin tone, you're really not going to be able to see it really great. This is why I wanted to give you guys the swatches in natural light, because I feel like you could really see it. So this is the shade Diffuse Bronze Light. This is actually the bronzer that I put in my custom palette to complete my collection. Next shade we have is the highlighter, which is Iridescent Strobe Light. Iridescent Strobe Light. I keep either saying incandescent. That's the only downfall with the shade names. So, oh, thank you, Crystal, for the super chat. You already know your brush is coming up in here. She's like, let me give you a little donation for that. Thanks, girl. All right, so Iridescent Strobe Light. For being a strobing powder, like, it definitely has a highlight effect. However, it's not your typical strobing powder. I feel like it almost feels like a little bit drier, but it's also not nearly as reflective. So I think, especially for fair skin, it's probably more ideal. I think there was almost like a method to their madness, almost like Hourglass probably knows what they're doing. That was just the one thing that I noticed mainly. And then we have the 2 new blushes, Radiant Peach and Vibrant Pink. Quick swatches real quick. Are these helpful for you guys? Because if they're not, we don't have to do them for the other 2 palettes. I'll let the live chat choose. So let me just start off by saying, neither of these are super pigmented. Like, you look at them in the promo, even looking at them in the pan, they look way more intimidating than they actually are, and you're going to see that as I apply them. I really have to layer these up, but they are fucking stunning. So now that we've gotten the swatches out of the way, you guys can actually see what this looks like on a, what I'm going to call medium skin tone. So as you can see, I filmed this right before I got on here, and you could let me know what you guys think of how this looks on my skin tone. So I always start off with a bronzer. I use the shade Diffuse Bronze Light. It's a shade I'm familiar with because, like I said, I do already have this. And I do mention this in all the videos that I talk about Hourglass. With these marble effects, they're, again, not going to be super pigmented because it's a partial bronzer, but also partial ambient powder. So it's going to have a little bit of a sheen to it, which I personally like. But for having a sheen, these are insanely flattering on texture, which is why I'm so favorable towards Hourglass powders. Like, no other brand does powders like Hourglass. Next shades that I like to go in with are the blushes. So on the one side, I use the peach shade. On the other side, I use, what was it? Radiant Pink. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. And this is why I was telling you guys earlier in the video, even though I am like a medium skin tone, you could still very visibly see all of these on my skin tone. And it just takes a little bit of layering, but it does that with every single palette. They're very buildable, and you could add so much to this fucking powder. And it's not going to, it's just not going to give too much. It's so beautiful. I can't get enough of these. And then going in with the finishing powders, I use one shade on one side and the other on the other. I tap into each pan so you guys could actually see which ones that I'm using. But you see what I'm talking about with the shade Aura Light right now? I feel like it just brightens up a little bit. I even notice a little bit more of a blurring effect with the shade Aura Light as well. So I think even though there are technically 2 finishing powders in the palette, especially fair skin or lighter skin, I think you're really going to appreciate having both of those. If I were to pick between the two, having my skin tone, I would have just loved to have had this one, which I am always more favorable towards the Marble Effect ones. But I think this palette's fucking beautiful. What do you guys think? Were you guys surprised to see the effect that had on my skin, how you could visibly see it? I have a feeling a lot of y'all are going to be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Because when you look at it, they don't ever look like anything exceptional. They don't look like anything exciting. But there is a fucking reason that Hourglass does these palettes every single year. And there's a reason more and more people buy these every single year. So that, my friends, is the Deer palette. Now, the palette that I was most excited about was the Swan. Stop looking at me, Swan! Guys, don't worry. I hate myself too. So in the Swan palette, we have 4 new shades, which naturally is always more exciting when we have new shades. So we've got Finishing Powder and Dim Light, which is in a ridiculous amount of palettes at this point. Like, I have this shade probably at least 10 times over with the collection that I have. Next shade is Golden Hour, which is a new highlighter. It is so gorgeous, as you guys saw from the swatches I showed earlier. Next shade is Natural Bronze, which we saw this in last year's Evil Eye palette. Next shade is Luminous Coral, new blush. Next shade is Sunset Flush, and then Mauve Fusion. Try telling me Mauve Fusion is not the most stunning fucking blush you've ever seen. And just wait till you see it on the skin, because it looks even better. All right, so quick swatches for you guys. So Dim Light, this is actually my personal favorite of the finishing powders, just because it's the most suitable for my complexion. You want this to almost blend into your skin tone, so when I swatch it, it's like you can see the little bit of a sheen. That's the point. You want it to just be a veil powder. They do subtly blur, like I have large pores and texture, and I have a lot of texture on the back end of my face. That's where I like to just run it over the high points, just to give that ethereal type glow. Oh, but Golden Hour, this is stunning. Okay, Alexandria, I'm so glad that you got that reference, because if y'all didn't get that reference, get out. Okay, so this is the shade Golden Hour for the strobing powder, and then we have the shade Natural Bronze, which could not believe when I looked at my Evil Eye palette. This I actually have. I'll even show you. Let me show you real quick so you don't think I'm lying. I can't believe it. You see that little hole there? That means we're getting down to the pan, and that does not happen for me for these palettes. So this is Natural Bronze. Next shade we have is Luminous Coral, which I feel like we've seen shades that are similar to this, and on the face they probably do look very similar. So this is why I say to you guys, like, you don't need to collect all these palettes, because there is a lot of overlap, or there is a lot of similarities where it's like once you apply them to your face, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. That's just the reality. And I think that there's other shades like Radiant Coral. Is that one of them? I feel like it's a very similar effect, like similar but not identical. You get what I'm saying? Next shade we have is Sunset Flush, which this one is more of, it's going to give you more of like a radiance, a slight sheen, or no, a slight pigmentation with more of that reflect is what this one's going to give. So you can see it's like a very soft orange, absolutely beautiful. And then what I think everybody's probably here for is Mauve Fusion. Oh, I'm going to classify this as more of like, it says Mauve Fusion, but it's almost like a fuchsia fucking stunning. I love this shade so much, and I love this palette so much. I know already that this is going to be my favorite. At least that's what I'm expecting. So let me show you the demo, because goddamn, so good. I actually used this one first on accident. So the shade Natural Bronze, I knew this bronzer would work for my skin tone. I actually feel like this is one of their more neutral, because I could use this shade as a bronzer and also a contour. Everybody is always complaining about how Hourglass bronzers always lean more warm. I'm over here like, isn't that the point of a bronzer, is to be more warm? Contour powders are usually cooler, but who am I? So I could use this as a contour or a bronzer because it does lean more neutral. Now for the blushes, I'm just going to let you watch in awe. So I layered the lighter shades first, and then I put Mauve Fusion, or I put the lighter shade down first, which is Sunset Flush. Put the... what shade was it? So I put Sunset Flush down first on one side, and on top of that I put Luminous Coral, and then I put the Mauve Fusion on the other side, just so you can get a visual, because like I said, Sunset Flush, it's very, very subtle, so putting the other shade on top of it was not really a big deal. But look at that highlight though! How many of y'all remember that? that was on repeat on this channel back in the day. The highlight though! But look how fucking stunning. I'm going the wrong way. Do I need to explain why I love these palettes? I'm just wondering, because yeah, immediately, yes. I'm here. I'm just like, just look at me. Yes, bitch. I just saw a comment. Are you doing comparison swatches? I'm curious how Mauve Fusion compares to Rose Heat in the Universe Unlocked. I am going to do comparisons towards the end of the video. So I'm going to have a whole comparison section, because I will do timestamps after this is live. That way it's easier for you guys to kind of maneuver, because I do anticipate this being a very, very long video. So yes, I will be doing comparisons. So if you guys have comparisons that you guys want to see when I get to that section, make sure you're sounding off and you can let me know which ones you want. Now, for the palette that we're going to demo live for you is the Fox palette. So in this palette, we have 1 existing shade and 5 new shades, which is always so fucking exciting. So the only repeat shade that we have in this palette is Lucid Glow. So we have Solar Glow, Lucid Glow, Desert Light, Canyon Heat, Amethyst Haze, and Bronze Fusion. Now, I saw Morgan's video earlier over on TikTok, and she was doing comparisons to Lotus with this palette, which I thought was excellent. I do plan on doing little shorts and also TikTok videos, comparisons, actually applying them side by side. So when you look at this palette, because this is the palette that I would say is ideal for people with medium to tan to deep skin tones. When you look at this palette side by side in comparison to Lotus, Lotus appears to be darker, but I feel like when I swatch these, like take this with a grain of salt so far, because I haven't actually applied these, I felt like there was more depth in the Fox palette, especially within the bronzer. So I'm very curious to do the comparison side by side, but you can see like definitely a very similar vibe between Lotus and then the Fox palette. So back to the swatches, the reason why we're here at this moment. Next shade we have is Lucid Glow. This is one of the blushes that I actually put into my custom palette because I wanted an orangey toned little travel one. This shade's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Next shade we have is Desert Light. Now, when I'm a little bit more fair, I'm going to say a little bit lighter because I never really get fair, I could probably use this shade as a bronzer. So this is what I'm saying to you guys when I'm explaining how I feel like a lot of different skin tones can get a lot of different usage out of each palette because you don't have to use them as they're instructed. So like technically this is a finishing powder. I would not use this as a finishing powder. I would use this as like a bronzer or a bronzer topper or something like that. And then we have the shade Canyon Heat, which I already know this is going to be one of my favorite blushes of all time. It's almost like a bronzer. It's fucking beautiful. It's got a slight terracotta. Give me like, remember Becca Songbird? Kind of a very similar vibe. It's just deeper. Love it. And then we have Amethyst Haze, which this is the one I knew would catch everybody's attention. I think it's so pretty. So let me give you a quick swatch of that one. And then the highlight, or no, bronzer is Bronze Fusion. I thought we already did the highlighter, duh, first one. So this is the shade Amethyst Haze. And then the last shade, I honestly feel that this is the deepest bronzer that Hourglass has ever done, which is honestly crazy because how have we not gone deeper than this for a bronzer? But you know what? She pretty deep for Hourglass. In comparison to other brands, absolutely not. But this definitely has more depth, I think, than it looks. So there's that. Now, another palette. Not ideal for my skin tone, probably, but I'm still going to fucking use it, and I'm going to show you how, and that's what we're going to do right now. Isn't it beautiful? I know, you guys are like, you don't need to explain shit. They're all just beautiful. All right, so let me pull this off the screen, and I'm going to demo this for you guys, because she deserves it. And the fact that we get all new shades, immediate yes. So this is what I'm going to do. Being mindful of what my skin tone is now, I'm going to first use this shade here as a bronzer, just to see what it looks like. And if you're wondering the brush that I'm using, you guys see Crystal Lee in the comments. I see you, girl. It's the Crystal Lee Cosmetics K32. Now, I have been testing this brush, not this one specifically. Remember all the videos that I was like, I'm using a brush that I can't really talk about, or I'm using a prototype brush? It's this bitch right here. It's so perfect for these Hourglass palettes. I did not purchase the brushes. We'll talk about those in probably a little bit. I was not impressed with the quality of the brushes last year as far as the individual ones. So I'm just going to encourage you guys to support a small indie brand. And if you're in the market for a brush for these palettes, it fits perfectly in the pans. I told Crystal, like, as I was testing this before she decided if she was announcing it or if she was going to sell it, I'm like, bitch, you better sell this or I'm going to throw hands. Because it's such a good brush. So let's first start with, shit, what shade was it called again? I got so sidetracked by that. Fox, what shade are we in? This is going to be the shade Desert Light. So I'm going to first try this as a bronzer on one side of my skin. Now, I feel like with my skin tone right now, might not be super ideal, but you can see it like just tapping it in. You can see it does create a little bit of depth. So just because something is technically labeled as one thing, that doesn't mean that's how you have to use it. So I'm going to, as I'm building this, like this actually looks pretty nice for a bronzer for me. Let me take that down so I can actually center myself and do it this way. All right, and because this is a finishing powder, it will have a slight sheen to it, which I feel like all Hourglass, like if you like matte products, you're not going to like these because Hourglass never does matte powders. If they ever did, I would be shocked. But I feel like that is also one of the biggest appeals about these palettes is they give a natural skin-like effect. So as you're seeing right now, this would be a bronzer more ideal for me in like fall, winter time. You can see it does give the skin the radiance, which I'm good with that. But we'll use, I'm just wiping my brush off on my pants in between. But we'll use, let me pull this back up. Bronze Fusion we'll use on the other side. Oh my god. The struggle is so real with these fucking hair extensions. My lord. Alright, so Bronze Fusion. Let's see what we got. So I'm going to go in very light-handed. Oh yeah, this is going to work for a very wide variety of skin tones, I think. So as you're seeing, it definitely leans more warm. To be expected, it's Hourglass. To be expected, it's bronzer. Usually bronzers are warm toned, at least. That's what I want. Alright, so don't need to build that nearly as much. So we'll go up to the forehead. I'll probably end up putting this on the other side, but we'll see just how this goes. Little bronzer helmet. I don't feel like this is too warm, though. What do you guys think? It's hard for me to look this way. That's why I think I'm going to put it on this side so I could see a little bit better. Because when I'm looking this way, I'm like, I don't feel like that's too... It's not too warm, though. Because when you look at the marble effect in this one, it looks like it's almost a marble of a cooler toned and a warmer tone. So you're almost getting like a neutral. Yeah, girl, these are extensions, bitch. They're long as fuck. Let me put it on since I really don't have much going on this side, I am going to put this shade over on here too, just so I could see it better in my viewfinder to see what it's actually looking like, because it could be playing me, but oh yeah, that's nice. Me likey. So this would be a bronzer that would definitely be ideal for me. Spring, summer. Immediately, yes. Now, I'm not going to continue to build this up, but I know that this could go deeper than that. So I'm going to leave this here because that's what works for my skin tone. But if you are deeper complexion than me, you could absolutely build this up. Absolutely. This is the other thing. I know a lot of people don't love to do that. Just like how I don't love to continuously dip into a lip gloss and apply it. I don't want to have to dip and then dip and then dip. I don't mind doing that with powders. I would rather have less pigmentation, especially when it comes to blushes, bronzers. I would rather have less pigmentation and be able to build it up than apply it to my face and be like, fuck. So, I don't know, because I am notorious for being heavy-handed, and I feel like that's why these work also really well for me, because even if I go a little too heavy-handed, I could easily correct it, and it's fine. Now, I really don't, no, Jacqueline, I don't have any creams, like no cream contour, no cream bronzer. I have strictly foundation and concealer, and that's all I have on today. So, I really don't want to put Lucid Glow on, but I will if you guys want me to, because I don't want it to manipulate what we have going on with these two, because these are going to be a lot more visible than Lucid Glow. And Lucid Glow is not necessarily, I feel like, the selling point with this palette. What do you guys think? Do you guys want... I could apply it and just apply it very softly. I'm going to go in with Canyon Heat first, and then I'll see what you guys say in the comments. So let's do Canyon Heat. Like, picks up really nicely on the brush. I already know I'm going to love this. So this is going to be a little bit more pigmented because this is not a marble effect blush. Yeah, this is definitely like a bronzer. It almost reminds me of like... yeah, like Becca Songbird. But a little bit more, I'm going to say a little bit more like brown tone even. Oh, now we got two flies. That's cool. Ah! Okay, what do we think about Canyon Heat? This, for me, is like fall. Immediately, yes. Immediately, yes. This one... I don't feel like it's as pigmented as I expected it to be. So I am able to build this one up. But you see how, like, the depth dramatically changes as I just keep adding layers? Yeah. We like that. That's cute. Okay. You guys haven't said anything in the live chat about Lucid Glow. So I'm going to carry on to the other side. And then if you want me to tap Lucid Glow, like, right here or something, I can do that. But... I feel like when people look at this palette, this is the one that they look at, and I want to just give her her moment, because let's see what she looking like. I really need to pair this side by side to the shade that's in the Swan palette, because I feel like the overall effect that I'm seeing. Very much giving almost like berry, like fuchsia berry. So I feel like this is kind of giving a similar effect. Oh, that's cute though. Oh, I love this though. This is definitely my wheelhouse right here, but there is such a time and place for something like this. That is so cute. But if you look at this one, how do you think it compares to the one that's in the Swan? This is cute. Yeah, I keep looking at this because this is what I like. Canyon Heat, that's going to be a favorite shade for sure. All right, how are we feeling about the cheeks? We'll keep going. Highlighter. You guys still haven't said nothing about Lucid Glow, so I'm assuming you guys don't give a fuck. So now, we've used every other shade in the palette except for Lucid Glow. And now we'll do the highlight. Now this highlight is not going to be super ideal for my skin tone. But I could still use it because, listen. If I gave a fuck about a cast, I wouldn't use probably half of the makeup products that I have. I would just use a lot lighter of a hand with this one and focus it stronger on the back. But this is where I was saying in the beginning of the video. If you could justify not getting a ton of use out of that for that purpose, you could use this on, let's say, an inner corner highlight, for example. You could still get use out of it. It just might not be what you're using it for, like, or you might not be using it for what it's actually intended for. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, like inner corner highlight, say less, because why not? Still works as a highlighter on my complexion, but it's just a little bit darker, so I get that slight, like if I'm looking forward, you're going to see a slightly darker cast. I personally don't give a fuck about that because I don't think anybody's looking at me that hard to be like, oh, I could see the cast from your highlighter. Like, ain't nobody saying shit. I just focus it a little bit further back. But if I'm buying this palette as like an average consumer, I'm buying it for them fucking blushes. Like that Canyon Heat especially, that's going to be probably new favorite highlight or new favorite blush shade to probably ever exist from Hourglass. That's at least what I'm envisioning for myself. Okay, so you guys don't see the cast. That's good. Because I think it's because of how far... Normally, I pull my highlighter almost like down to here because I like to see it when I'm looking straight. But since I started it like right here, you're not seeing the cast as heavy. Plus, I used an incredibly light hand. So, if you're struggling with things like that, use a lighter hand. You can make shit work, guys. Yes, this is stunning. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish Lucid Glow wasn't in here. I wish they gave us something else. Like, I love Lucid Glow, but I would have loved to have seen something else, I think. I don't know. I feel like it's like throwing my eye for some reason. But this is the Fox palette, all applied. As you can see, looks stunning. At least, I think it does. See, I feel like this is where you could see that cast is right here. So if that doesn't bother you, and you're a complexion that's similar to me, you could use it in that sense. Now, let's get into some comparisons, because I feel like that's what a lot of people are curious about. Right? Very pretty on the eyes. Let me put a little bit too on. Like, I usually do, like, the tip of my nose. See, like, I could still get use out of this as a highlight even, because it's just more bronzy. I feel like this would be a highlight that I would be focused on if I was just giving super bronzy, like this look right here. This look right here, because it's all bronzy, it's all a whole moment, summer vibes. This, I would more likely go with something a little bit cooler. So I think that's where I'm like, I don't know. I love the shades in this palette. I'm just not necessarily sure I love the curation. Does that make sense? I feel like this could have been curated better. We'll say that. All right. You guys haven't said shit about Lucid Glow. Finna says the same thing. Same. Lucid Glow is pretty, but I would have picked something different. I don't know what, though. Same. That's where I'm like, yeah, same. I don't know what I would put there either. I'm not mad at it, though. You know what I think it is, though? Is because the Marble Effect blushes, they don't always look the same. So if my marble looked like this, I wouldn't have such an attitude about it, and I know it. So I have the Barney's Volume 3 palette. Where is it? Barney's Volume 3, my Lucid Glow in this is so good. You know what would have been really nice in this? Like a deeper version of At Night. That would have been the shit. Like a true brick red. That's what I would have done. Yeah. Because what just made me think of it is because At Night is in Barney's Volume 3. A deeper version of that in this would have been chef's kiss. But you see what I mean as far as the Lucid Glows, like, this one looks so much more visually appealing. Look how dirty that is. How disgusting. The Barney's Volume 3 Lucid Glow is so much more visually appealing than what is in my Fox palette. It's fine though. Like, I'm not mad at it because I still love all the new shades. And because I have other shades to choose from, like other Lucid Glows, it's fine. I'm not mad at it. But I know not everybody's going to feel that way. So there's that. Oh yeah, brick red. Because technically At Night is considered a brick red, but it's not. Like, it's not. Let's not play. They could do much more brick than that, for sure. Put me on the fucking team, Hourglass. I'll give you a curation. Marble blushes for deeper skin tones is hit or miss for sure. And I think that's where, honestly, I think this palette is really well done, especially for deeper skin tones, as far as everything except for that. Like, I feel like deeper skin is really going to appreciate these as long as they're okay with building it up. I don't know. I don't feel like Lucid Glow necessarily fits, but it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, everything's fine. Now, before I get into comparisons, I do want to pull up the website and also give you guys a friendly reminder that I do have affiliate links down below if you're interested in shopping this collection. Like, if this video is helpful for you, or any videos that you watch, like I said, Morgan Turner has posted her video, Charlotte Holdcroft, I think Babs Beauty just posted hers as well. If you guys want, I'll link them below. But if any of our videos help, make sure you guys use our links if you're shopping. It's a free way to help support your favorite creators. And also, this is only available currently on the Hourglass website. So, one thing that we didn't talk about yet is the fact that you can customize your palettes. And I have some unconfirmed tea, but I'm going to share it anyways regarding the horse palette. Because Hourglass is doing things very, very interesting this year. So, as of right now, like I said, this is only available on Hourglass's website. These palettes, at least so far. It hasn't been confirmed when they're coming to retailers, and it hasn't been confirmed what retailers. I'm just assuming it's going to be the same as previous years. So think Sephora, Ulta, Beautylish, Nordstrom, Selfridges. Like any company that usually carries these palettes, they'll most likely drop there. And I think it was September 18th or 19th, right? So actually, let me double check that. I want to say it's September 18th. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. Again, I apologize, but this is live, so unfortunately we have to segue sometimes. So, as of right now, it's September 19th. As of right now, the horse palette is only showing up on Sephora. And that is supposed to be an app exclusive on September 5th, which is in 2 days. Mind you, the Sephora Friends and Family sale starts in also 2 days. So we'll be able to get 20% off of the horse palette if you were interested on the Sephora app for 1 day only on September 5th. Now, you have to have like a special code. Check Reddit, okay? I know Reddit is a cesspool, but they will absolutely have those Sephora Friends and Family codes on there. Check pages like Beauty Deals BFF. Pretty much anybody that you know either works at Sephora or is like in the Sephora squad. So check like Erin Nicole. I wonder if she'll have any. So you have to be like invited to the Friends and Family sale, but you'll be able to get the horse palette for 20% off during that sale. So back to the Hourglass website. I just totally got off on a tangent. So these retail for $94. And in the event that you're like, okay, I really like the deer palette, but I love the swan packaging. Or I really love the swan palette, but I love the fox packaging. You have that ability to customize on the Hourglass website. Hourglass website will be the only website that you can do that. Sephora, all these other retailers, you're only going to be able to purchase the curated palettes, which is what I have. So I always keep them in their original state just because it's easier for me for content. But if I was an average consumer, I would absolutely be customizing because I don't always love the color stories of the packagings and shit like that. So, you know, I like having that additional option. I'm like, why is this not working? So, how you do this, you first click the link below and it'll direct you to the Hourglass website. And then you just choose between your artwork and then you choose between your color palette. Now, deer palette, if you like this color story, you will be color palette 1. Swan palette, if you like this color story, you will be color palette 2. Right? Yes. That just fucked me all the way up. So this is what's messing me up, is because I just had that wrong. Okay, so yes, Swan palette would be color palette 2. with that being said, color palette 3 is going to be the Fox palette. But you're able to at least visualize it. So if you're like, okay, I don't know, maybe I'm going to want this packaging, you have that ability to see that. And then also on the Hourglass website, you could choose the horse packaging as well. Now, there's also brushes. Only available on the Hourglass website currently. Same deal. I'm pretty sure it's going to launch all at the same time. I'm anticipating that September 19th. So there's the deer. You also have the swan. You also have the fox. And the horse, which we've already seen this on the Sephora app or the Sephora website. Same deal. I'm pretty sure this will probably launch on the Sephora app on September 5th. They're doing a whole like exclusive Sephora launch, if you will. So the horse brush is currently not available on Hourglass. The other 3 are available. But this is why I did not purchase the brushes, is because last year, the quality of the dual-ended brushes that were individuals were hot trash. Like, not worth it. Would never recommend them. Based off of the experience that I saw with last year's. Like, I was even at the Hourglass flagship store. Touched everything. If there's a collection that has like the tin with the 3 brushes, if those come back, those would be worth it. But the dual-ended brushes, based off of how I felt about last year, they're not worth $52. I would say if you're going to buy a brush, go over to Crystal Lee Cosmetics and buy this one. And then they're also doing, if you buy a face brush on Crystal Lee, you get this brush, which is one of my favorite foundation brushes. This is the K1. You get this for 50% off. You're welcome. You could use code BRITCHES10 at checkout as well. It's not affiliate. I don't have an affiliate link anymore. They discontinued the affiliate program, but I still have the code so you can get 10% off if you're interested in just that brush. But I have not touched these brushes. I probably should have got them just for knowledge, just so I know. But I'm anticipating these being the very same quality as the brushes from last year. I do believe that this is a new style though, so that's kind of cool, but ultimately I'm just like, nah, it wasn't even worth the risk for $52. So here's some tea that I recently was told. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but with how Hourglass is like fucking around, I would not be surprised. So I'm going to quote this because this is a quote from the Hourglass team. The artwork for the horse palette will be available on our website, but the palette shades are exclusive to Sephora. We hope this helps, Hourglass team. So with that being said, the only place that you're going to be able to get the horse palette from that, I would say, would be Sephora. So I think horse as a whole, aside from just the artwork, is going to be Sephora exclusive, which is so fucking bizarre. But that's neither here nor there. But I just think it's interesting because the horse palette is the only one that is all original shades. So this is what I'm like expecting, just kind of thinking business. They had to have ordered like a significant amount of the horse palettes in order for them to do something like this. You know what I'm saying? So if you're expecting to buy a horse palette from Hourglass Cosmetics website, by that message, they're not going to be available. Like, the color story is not going to be available on Hourglass, which, I don't know, again, to me, that is fucking bizarre. So, if you're looking for a horse, I would get it at Sephora. And I would get it during the Sephora Friends and Family sale. If I come across the link, because I think each link has like 250 invites that it could do. If I happen to come across one that somebody gives me and they allow me to share it with my followers, follow me on Instagram. I will absolutely post that on my Insta story. I have not come across that. Like, I have a code for myself personally, but I don't have access to a code to share with you guys. So if anybody's watching that's a Sephora employee or a Sephora squad member and you want to share a code with us or a fucking link, please let me know. And like I said, keep an eye on my Instagram story because that's where I would be sharing it. Hourglass won't let you choose horse to customize. Hourglass won't let you choose the horse. Yes, so you could choose the artwork, but you can't choose the color palette. So that's why we're only seeing. Let me pull it back up. Wow, these flies are driving me crazy. So this is the horse palette, in case you guys didn't know. All of these shades are existing, just so you're aware. Now, with the Hourglass site, you could already buy the horse packaging, but you see how there's only the 3 color palettes? There should technically be 4, but since they're doing the palette 4, aka the horse, since they're doing it as an exclusive with Sephora, you're not able to purchase it. And as they said, let me quote one more time, the artwork for the horse palette will be available on our website, but the palette shades are exclusive to Sephora. Don't shoot the messenger, all right? It says join the wait list if you try to use that. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, you're right. It does. Interesting. So this is another thing. So I posted about this on my TikTok. I have a feeling Hourglass is up to something. And I have a couple reasons why I think this. Partially because of what they're doing with this horse palette. But if you follow them on Instagram, this is just me doing detective work. Let me pull it up so you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you saw this post on their Instagram and also on their TikTok, and it says, the collection you've been waiting for arrives on September 6th. This is not a holiday palette. In the comments, I guess, somebody said that they responded that this is the horse palette. I don't know if they just forgot what their palettes look like, but this is not the horse palette. This palette is this palette, which is the Charm Palette Volume 1. And for them to use that palette and say the collection you've all been waiting for, because it's no secret that people have been begging them to bring those Charm palettes online. So I have a feeling that we're going to see this palette and also Volume 2, which I do plan on still doing videos with these palettes. I have a feeling we're going to see these online. And I think that's like the fuckery that they're doing with the horse palette. I feel like they all kind of go together. This is Volume 2 right here. So it hasn't been confirmed or anything like that, but I think if they don't bring these online, they would fuck up epically. Because these, if you're gifting somebody like the gift of makeup, this would be my number one recommendation, full stop. Simply because the charm aspect is so cute. It's so perfectly executed, at least in my opinion. I think these would be an exceptional gift. And I love Volume 1. I think Volume 1 is super pretty. I do love Volume 2 as well, but Volume 1 is just more visually appealing to me. Again, Lucid Glow is also in this one as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, in the event that you guys want videos on these, this was my priority, like the holiday palettes. But in these palettes, we have Dim Light, Luminous Bronze Light, which I think we've seen this. I want to say, I didn't think that this was in like a 6-pan palette before, but somebody said it was, and I can't remember which palette it was. But I don't know. I still feel like we haven't seen Luminous Bronze Light in another palette. Right? Anyways, Incandescent Strobe Light, which that's the strobing powder that's in the Deer palette. And then we have Mood Exposure, Peach Fusion, and Vibrant Coral. And then in Volume 2, we've got Radiant Light, Infinite Strobe Light, Burnish Glow, remember that from Target, the Tiger palette, Lucid Glow, Red O, and Solar Bronze. I have a feeling these are coming, guys. I got a feeling. I can't confirm nor deny. I just feel like that's what's definitely coming, especially after them posting what they posted. That's Charm Volume 1. I don't know what they're thinking. HR said I would buy that for my 20-year-old daughter in a heartbeat for Christmas with her initials. Right. I think the initials, you got initials, luck charms, what the hell are the other ones? Things that represent luck, horoscope. There's 4 different categories. Why am I drawing such a blank? Regardless, excellent gift. Excellent. 100%. Yeah, I bet the horse artwork becomes available on Hourglass when Sephora drops it. I think it's going to be September 6th. I think they're going to give Sephora their September 5th extravaganza. So I think that's going to launch first. And then September 6th is when we're going to see the horse artwork drop. So if you're waiting for the horse, I would check on the 5th. But also I would more have expected on the 6th. Because I think that there's got to be some sort of like contract in place or something for them to be giving Sephora this much control over a launch. I don't know. Zodiac. There we go. I'm like, what are the words that I'm looking for? All right, so now I'm gonna chop this up now to the comparisons that you guys want to see. So if you guys have enjoyed this so far, I mean, you guys are doing pretty good. There's 107 people watching and 91 thumbs ups. We can do better though. Like if you haven't thumbs it up, if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a minute, click the buttons. Let's get into some comparisons. So whatever ones that you guys want to see, please feel free. I'm going to start with the one that I'm the most curious about, and that's the Swan palette versus the Fox palette. The mauvey shades. I need to know which one looks better, or not even that. I just need to know if they look the same, because they do give a very similar vibe. So first we're going to have Swan, and then second to that, already I could tell these are not going to be the same. I feel like, so we've got Swan on top, Fox on the bottom. This is where I'm saying, though, you don't necessarily need all the palettes, because on the face, these are going to look probably really similar. But looking at them in real life, I do notice that the Swan has a little bit more, almost like, I want to say luminescence, or a little bit more radiance to it. It has more of an effect, I think. You see how it has that, I'm going to say a sheen. It's got more of a sheen, I think, than the Fox. The Fox is slightly more berry toned as well. But comparing these side by side, like if you were to apply these both to the skin, I do think that you're going to get more depth out of the Fox just because it's more pigmented. Like, that's a given. But, I don't know. Like, Swan to me, a little bit more rosy tone even as well. It's almost like rosy, pinky, bronzy. And then, I don't know, the Fox palette, for me, this is giving fuchsia berry. Let me know. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this, guys. If you're shopping the Hourglass website and you want a discount, first you're going to want to use the link down below. But if you are shopping these palettes, you could use code Veronica, or you could use code Jacqueline. You guys all know, hey, it's Jacqueline here on the YouTube. She has a discount code with Hourglass. I do not. I have messaged them countless amounts of times trying to get one for you guys. I still do not have one. But you can use their codes and, you know, help some creators out. Like I said, you could use my link first. Morgan Turner swatch the lightest. Hold on. Morgan Turner swatch. I love Morgan. She's so great. Swatch the lightest this year versus last year. Medium and deep. It was shockingly how similar they are shade to shade. That was what I'm like, I'm curious. I need to see that as well. Because when I look at them, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to do something, though. Let me do something real quick. Let me cook. Isn't that the phrase now? Let me cook. Like, that's the dumbest phrase I've ever heard, I think. All right, let me go to... I wiped that off real quick. I want to do this with a brush, just to see. So I'm going to start with the Swan. And I'm going to do this... I got to make sure it's dry. I'm going to try to do this with my other hand. Because, you know, I know everybody loves swatches and shit. But let's be honest. That's not how we're fucking wearing these. I think swatches are so pointless when it comes to Hourglass. Because, one, it doesn't do them justice anyways. But this is where it's going to look different. And this is why whenever I cover these palettes, you see me actually apply them. I don't love to do swatches. I'm sorry, guys. I do it for you, and that's it. Alright, so now we've got this. Yeah, like, this looks way, way different. Like, swatches look way more comparable. To me, that looks insanely different. So this is the Swan. And then, so this is like 2 layers of the Swan. 2 layers of the Fox. Way more tone difference doing it that way. All right, hold on. Let me build this a little bit more, because that's just how I roll. 1 more layer of each. Yeah, see, or no, this was 3 layers. So 3 layers of the Swan, 3 layers of the Fox. See what I mean, though? Like, they look way different. At least, to me, they look way different. Do you guys notice a difference? All right. What other swatches do you guys want to see comparison? And she did Swan versus Fox. They are close. Yeah. I don't know. This is where I'm like, that makes me want to apply these in, like, to do the same thing. To be like, all right, how similar are they really, though? Because I feel like when, I don't know, that I wasn't expecting those to be that far off. Because those were, the undertones were significantly different on those. Okay, let me see. Let me see what you guys are saying. Which ones do you guys want to see? Do you think Luminous Coral is similar to Sunset Glow? What palette was Sunset Glow? So Luminous Coral, that is this one right here. We'll do those two next. Luminous Coral is in Swan. I gotta let this dry down. Deer and Charm. Charm 1 palette. Hold on. Sunset Glow. What fucking... Or not Sunset Glow. Yeah, Sunset Glow. That's a new one. Right? Or no, that's Sunset Flush. Oh my god, I'm confusing myself already. Luminous Coral. I just used the wrong one. I used Sunset Flush. My bad. Sunset Glow versus Radiant Peach. Sunset, where is, okay, hold on. Let me redeem myself right now, okay? So we said Luminous Coral to Sunset Glow. This is the only difficult part of having this many palettes now and doing so many palettes at one time is like so many of the names like overlap. So Luminous Coral is in Swan and it's this one. What the fuck? All right, so let's go back to what was originally asked because I don't know what the fuck I was just doing. So we'll do hand swatch this way. This one's actually fairly sparkly as well. And then Sunset Glow. That I feel like was... Yeah, if you... Like, alright guys, do me a solid. If you guys are in the live chat asking for comparisons, please include what palette it's from. Because I'll be able to do this way faster. So like Sunset Glow, what palette was that? Sunset Glow, Sunset Glow. Where is that? Do I think the deer one would look ashy on a light medium skin? No. Did it look ashy on me? Alright, Sunset Glow. Guys, I'm waiting for Sunset Glow. What palette was that in? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I have 23 extra palettes that I'm referring to. It's in Butterfly. See? Boom. That's what I need, guys. Alright, so Sunset Glow is number 5. This one right here. So Sunset Glow to me is more pink. Whereas Vibrant Coral is more... Oh, this is going to be hard. Alright. So we've got this one here, Butterfly. So that's Sunset Glow versus... There we go. I feel like you can see the depth differences. Sunset Glow is definitely deeper for sure. But it's more pinky. But let's see what they look like. So we've got Vibrant Coral. Wow, this is so hard. Vibrant Coral. Sunset Glow. Very different. At least to me, very different. Vibrant Coral is actually appearing more pinky though. Interesting. Yeah, it's like pinky coral. This is more, I would say, peachy coral. Wow. All right, that was fun. Let me see what other one. Wow, I thought for sure you guys would have like a shit ton that you would want to see. Okay. Let's see. Rose Heat from Universe Unlocked. Hold on, let me put these back so I remember what one's where. Okay, Rose Heat from Universe Unlocked. Curious to see how it looks with the purple shades. Okay. Rose Heat? Are you talking about... That's not Rose Heat. Unless I'm looking at the wrong one. Hold on. No, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong one. So this is the palette that we're referring to right now. So this is the Ambient Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked. So she wants to see Rose Heat, which is this one up here, in comparison to the other ones. This, to me, holding up these palettes is going to be really tricky. I feel like this is closer to the Fox. but still. So you got Rose Heat, Fox. But also remember that the marble effect and these solid ones, they're different, like different finishes. So let's do, that's going to be Rose Heat. And then the Fox. Yeah, the finishes are way different. Holy fuck. So with Rose Heat, I mean, the shades are very similar, but the finish is way different. So with the marble effect blushes, they're not nearly as radiant as the ones that aren't marble. I think, honestly, the marble are a lot more flattering, in my opinion. But, yeah, I mean, similar vibe for sure. I think you're getting a little bit more depth, though, out of the Fox palette, though. But that's actually a pretty good comparison. I think on the face, they would definitely look comparable in shade, but finish is completely different. That's a good comparison. Thank you for that. Evil Eye versus Swan, Lotus versus... Okay, I'm not going to do like a full palette, unless you guys... Do you guys want a full palette? Because, I don't know. I don't think that anybody wants to sit around for that amount of time watching me do full... Okay, Lisa's like, yes, bitch, do it. Okay, fine. I'm pretty sure this is one that Morgan Turner did, if you're wanting to see it faster. So I'll give you a comparison. We've got Evil Eye versus Swan. So I'm going to do first Swan, and then I'll hold them up side by side first. But I feel like tone-wise, yes, definitely going to be very similar to one another. This would be where it's like if you have Evil Eye, yeah, wow, if I could not reverse these, that'd be great. Like, I keep going in the wrong direction. It's like if you have Evil Eye, you probably don't need Swan. But they're not the same either, though. Like, similar vibe, but not the same. All right, so I'm going to start with Swan. I'll try to get these done quickly for you guys. Again, if you're watching the playback, check for timestamps, because that will probably get you through this much faster. But, I mean, the Britches always say they love long videos, so you're welcome. Okay, so first we have swatched the Swan. And then going over to Evil Eye. I love, like, these two shades in Evil Eye were so good. Finishing powder, highlighter, blush. Love this blush right here. Yeah, I mean, they are similar, but I still see differences as well, though. Okay, let's see. So, we've got Swan. Let me make sure I'm in focus. Swan palette, Evil Eye. Similar vibe. I think you're getting a little bit more depth out of Swan, though. So, it's like if Evil Eye was a little bit too light, I think the bronzers are the same. But the, I don't know, it's like these bronzers don't look the same, though. Like, the new one looks darker, I think. But it's probably just because it's how much I've used it. Yeah, it's just because of how much I used it. So, I think if maybe Evil Eye was not dark enough or you didn't get enough depth out of the blushes, you might like this better. That bronzer swatched so much better in the Swan, though. But yeah, similar vibe for sure. I think if I were to apply these with a blush brush... Wow, if I were to apply these with a brush, you'd see more differences like we did with that one earlier. But that would be a comparison. You'll see this on like a short. I will definitely do this comparison on TikTok and also YouTube Shorts. All right, what else did you guys want for comparison swatches? Yeah, sorry if I missed this. What lipstick am I wearing? It's beautiful. It is Unearthly Cosmetics, actually. What shade is it? It's their returning formula for their matte lipsticks in the shade Eerie. This is what I wore on my wedding. Love it. Let's see. It's different live. I know, right? Yes, please. What lipstick are you wearing? An eyeshadow palette. So the eyeshadow palette, listen, while I'm waiting for your guys' comparison requests, I'll tell you guys what I'm wearing. Eyes is Miss Pat McGrath Utopia, or no, not Utopian Dream. Moonlit Seduction is the eye look today. Gorgeous. That's probably my favorite Pat McGrath palette, is that one. All right, let me see. Ladies, I've been looking to buy an Hourglass palette for years. This might be it. I like the fast packaging. If it's your first time, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous if it's your first time. Oh, Be prepared to fall in love because they're incredible. Deer and Dragon, blushes and bronzers. All right, so Deer versus Dragon. Let me put these back. Dragon. So we've got this palette here. Let me give you guys a side-by-side. Just the differences from color palette. Because last year, this was the palette for the fair skin girlies. But I feel like this year is much more appropriate. I mean, it doesn't look like it's that far off. But I think having diffused bronze light in this palette, it really just takes it to a different level. And like this blush right here in the Deer palette, I think the fair skin girlies are gonna fucking love it. Cause it's like a true like baby pink blush, at least to me. So you want to see comparisons of the blushes and bronzer. So we've got these two blushes. So you're getting two blushes in both. 1, 2. So these are the blushes from the Dragon palette. These are going to be a very similar vibe for sure. Because it's like one is peach, one is pink. But the peachy tone in this year, it's a little bit more... I feel like for last year, it's more like orangey. Hold on. How do I want to say it? It's not orangey because it's like... How do I want to explain? This is where it gets really difficult because it's like I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. Hold on. I almost feel like these tones are cooler. Like, I feel like this is cooler than what we're getting from Dragon. Right? Dragon, yeah. So, Dragon and Deer. I almost said Swan. Yeah, I think I would say that. I'm getting more like bronziness, more warmth, whereas these I'm getting a little bit more coolness. So I think, I don't know, I look at this palette and I'm like, fair skin is going to love this. Like fair light skin tones. More, I'm going to say more fair. Or people that just like, I'm going to say more neutrals. Neutral cool, Deer, for sure. This to me is definitely more warm. Okay. Any more comparisons, you guys? Thank you, Stacy. Oh, wait, did you say... Oh, you said bronzers, too. Fuck, hold on. I forgot about that. I got too hyped up on the... Too hyped up. All right, so we've got Dragon on the side. So that's the natural bronze, I think it's called. And then for Deer, we've got diffused bronze light. And then we've got... So Swan... No, not Swan. Deer and Dragon. Dragon, Deer. See how it's like everything's a little bit more mellow, a little less pigmented. Yeah, I think this is way more suitable for fair. So I would say, this is at least my opinion, if Dragon was too deep or too warm, you're gonna like Deer. The end. Deer looks more saturated. Really? I don't know, that's the interesting thing, like, looking at things in real life versus, I don't know. Tone-wise, though, very similar. But when I'm looking, I don't know, to me, I think, like, these look more saturated than, wow. Dragon, to me, looks more saturated than what Swan looks. Not Swan, Deer. Why do I keep wanting to call the fair palette Swan? The fuck? Yeah. I don't know. So even if it looks that way, maybe it'll help holding it further back. Probably not. But I don't know. That's just what I'm seeing in real life, though. I think the Deer, yes, Deer is better suited for fair. I had Swan in my car, but I swear I'm thinking Fox will work. Listen, you saw how I made all these work for my skin tone. I think a lot of different skin tones can make a lot of different palettes work. It just depends on how you use it. Maybe I'm backwards. I mean, it could just be how it translates on camera, though. And also, you gotta consider, too, like, this is also why I don't love swatching, is because when you're, like, rubbing your finger in a palette that's old versus a palette that's new, like, with Hourglass, sometimes you gotta, like, get in there. So with these ones... It could look more saturated because it's like these are been used and abused like no other. So these are all fresh and barely touched. So it doesn't always swatch the same either. So that's one thing to also consider. Like, I don't know. I like applying with the brushes. So I think that's one thing that I'm going to probably do differently this year when I'm doing comparisons is when people are asking for specific shades, I'm just going to apply them to my face and just do them that way. So I feel like you guys are really quiet on comparisons. Like, do y'all even care? Is this helpful? I'm sure it's not incredibly helpful as far as finger swatches, because I don't think you're getting the true truth about what it actually looks like. I think you need to apply it with a blush brush. And yeah, I'm gonna say we'll call it with comparisons, because I feel like it's gonna be more helpful when I'm actually applying them to my face. So I may end up doing a video, like a compilation of just applying a bunch of different shades. So if you guys have any requests for comparisons and stuff like that, I could also do that in a separate video as well. I just think overall, I say this pretty much every year too. It's like, if you have Hourglass palettes already, you probably don't need them. If there's shades that speak to you or color stories that speak to you, that is what these launches are for. Like, you don't need all of them. I've already rambled all this, but it's like, just pick and choose wisely. It's $94, so it's definitely more expensive, but I promise you I will be producing a lot more content regarding these palettes. Let's see. Request for Dear Vibrant Pink and Sublime. Oh, Sublime Flush and Ghost is so good. Kind of a similar vibe, but also not really. Sublime Flush is one of my favorites of all time. So the reason I say that they're not similar is because Sublime Flush, one, it's a marble effect. I feel like anytime you're comparing the marble effect versus the solids, they're not the same. Because with the marble effect, normally you get a little bit more, I'm going to say like a soft, subtle sheen. This is going to do this no justice. This looks like hot trash swatched. On the face, it's incredible. Like, the reflect it adds, it's so good. Yeah, I don't think that... I don't even want to do this right now, because it's like, it's going to look similar, but I promise they're not. I promise you they're not. Not even close. I do see where more is... I think Sublime Flush, it's a little bit lighter. It's got a different sheen to it also, but I think the one from the Deer palette, it's more of like bubblegum pink. I think a lot of people are going to like that one. I don't know. That's what I think that's going to be one of my favorite blushes that Hourglass has done as well. Just because it's different, you know? It's different from what they typically do. They usually give us a lot of pinks, corals, but that's, I think, a more cool tone. I'm like, which side is that pinky shade on? Let me add, because this is how I would use something like this. Because I might not necessarily wear it on its own, but I love to add lighter pinks to the bottom of my cheeks. I do this with like the YSL blush all the time. Love. Let's see. Canyon Heat is what's selling you on the Fox. I feel like, I don't know if they'll ever do customizable 6-pans, just because I feel like they would have done it already, you know? I don't know. That's just my take on it. I feel like they know it would go incredibly well, but then it's like, how do you come back from that? Like, what else do you do after that? So it's like, I get it why they're not doing it, though. So looking at this palette, though, I'm curious what you guys think. What tones do you like better? Do you like the pinky tones, or do you like the more, like, bronzy? I love Canyon Heat. I think this is beautiful. Wow. Sold. These two shades sell this motherfucker. Love it. Do you guys have any more questions while we're still live? If not, I can jam and then film other content, because we have a lot to do today. Let's see. One side Swan, one side Fox. I don't think I would do those two side by side, just because they're polar opposite. Like, not even fucking close. When I'm doing comparisons, I like to do comparisons of things that are similar, simply because I feel like when you're doing comparisons, you're doing it to see if you really need it, you know? if I got enough requests for that, I would consider doing it, but I feel like it's wildly unhelpful. But that's just my speculation, I guess you could say. I would look at that and be like, they're totally different color stories, so why do I need to compare them? I feel like just demoing them just shows how different they are. Let's see. Bronze for sure. Love them both. Bronze side is so pretty. Yeah, love them both. Love your lives. You should do more often. Stacy, I'm working on it. I'm busy, bitch. But I'm working on it. Other than your personal quad, what is your favorite Hourglass palette of all time? I have different responses for different things. So it depends on my mood, for one. I think I've said this previously, is if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the original, just because this is the one that started it all. So this is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked, and I used the absolute piss out of that palette. But in my later years, I have become very fond of the Ghost palette. I think if this shade was different, this would be my favorite palette, because love these shades. Like, if this had, like, At Night in it, perfection. It's always one shade where I'm like, man, they just missed it. They just missed. But favorite color story is probably this one. I love when there's, like, I would just love a palette of all the marbles. Just because that's what I like. I personally like the marble effects a little bit more than the solids, just because they tend to be a lot more flattering on my texture. Let's see. Let's see, is that pink from Ghost? The Sublime Flush, that last swatch I did was from. Oh yeah, Sublime Flush. So good. It's really crazy how swatches of Hourglass do absolutely no justice. And people don't believe me every time I say that. I'm like, I don't know why y'all want swatches. I don't get it. Alright guys, I see that people are trickling out, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, I would love it if you would thumbs it up or thumbs it down. That's cool too. Share it. Tag people. Like, do all the things to hopefully help other people see this video. And I would love it if you guys would subscribe and also turn on your post notifications. That way you're notified when I go live. I apologize for the delay tonight. I had some technical difficulties and I wanted to get all those, the pre-film stuff. I wanted to get all that done for you guys. So I really hope this was helpful. If you guys are shopping Hourglass, I would highly recommend to use not only my links down below, but also any other content creator that you guys love. If you are shopping anyways, use the links. It's a free way to help support your favorite content creators. And friendly reminder, once again, the brush that I used today, Crystally K32, if you want to support a small indie brand. Fantastic brush. I love it. And while this brush is still in existence, the K1 is half off if you were to buy this. So it's, I don't know, to me, I'm like, these are two phenomenal brushes. So if you're in the market for brushes, highly recommend those. I have those linked down below as well. But other than that, don't forget to use code Veronica or Jacqueline at checkout on hourglass.com. And in the meantime, catch up on my other content over on my Instagram, TikTok, mainly TikTok. That's where I'm at, is over on TikTok. Instagram is trash. I'm on there, but you can catch me on my Insta story most of the time. Okay, guys, I'm rambling. I hope this helped, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!